Welcome to the 100% restoration and remodel of my $7,000 mansion. And before we get started, big thank you to Chomps for sponsoring this video. Today we are going to be attempting to work right outside the back entrance of the house. We have a whole bunch of junk out here and we need to get all of this stuff picked up. 107 years ago when they built this house, cars would not have been a thing, or they just would have been starting to make them. So most people would have had a horse. Now with horses, you don't put them in a garage. So therefore, back when they built this house, they didn't build a garage on the side of it. Well, today we have cars and I would like a garage. So we are going to be building a garage over here. And not only are we building a garage, we are also going to be adding on a second story addition. So that way we can have a couple more upstairs bedrooms. So since we're going to be building an upstairs, that means we also have to do some roof work. So we're gonna have to be able to tie into this old roof. Rough roof, tomato, syrup, roots. You know what I mean. Now, when it comes to this roof, I am fully confident in our abilities to build it and to build the new addition, but what I am not confident in is the engineering and design aspect behind it. This roof is extremely wonky. If you look up there, there's all sorts of gables and angles, and load is distributed weird. So right now we have a team of engineers and designers working on telling us how we need to build the new roof, and we're waiting on the designs, so we cannot get started until we get those. But to be completely honest, even if we had the designs right now, we wouldn't be able to do anything because we have all of this stuff in the way. So here's what we're going to attempt to do today. First off, we have a lot of trash around here. We're going to get all the trash picked up. And then we have some items like this toilet and rack that need to get put away inside of the heated shop. So this area is going to be the easy part, and then over here we have the hard part, which is our big concrete pile and the dirt pile. When it comes to things like our scrap wood, we can put it in a pile and we can burn it. Easy to get rid of. How do you get rid of a big old giant pile of concrete like that? I should also mention that we are going to be ripping up all of this concrete right here as well, so we are going to be adding all of this to that, so we're going to have even more. So I need to figure out, number one, how are we going to get rid of this, and number two, where are we going to put it? And then with the dirt pile, we have the exact same things we need to figure out, but we also need to figure out where we are going to put the dirt that we dig out right here, because there's going to be an underground movie theater right here, and we have a lot of dirt we need to dig out. And then we are also going to be digging all of the footers and the foundation walls for the rest of the addition. So there's going to be a lot more additional dirt on top of that. So this pile is going to get like 4 times bigger. So there's going to be a lot of dirt that we need to get rid of. Getting rid of a small pile is relatively easy. Getting rid of a big pile, that's a little bit more of a challenge. But hey, when they built the pyramids, they did it one rock at a time. So you know what they say, ain't nothing to it but to do it. So for help today, since we're gonna be working with big equipment and kind of picking stuff up, we have Roman here and me. So we got, what are we gonna call ourselves? The dynamic duo?
Dream team.
Okay, we got the dream team today. I'm not really sure how we're gonna go about getting started with everything here, but I do know we have a lot of trash, we have a lot of concrete, and we have a lot of dirt, so we are definitely going to be needing the dump truck, so we're gonna go head down to the main heated shop and pick up the dump truck. Now our dump truck may be a little rough around the edges. I think it's like a 1980, 1978, something like that. We get like 2.5 gallons per mile for fuel economy. It's absolutely horrible, and how the sides of this thing are still intact is absolutely beyond me. If we break them off today while we are doing this job, we're going to set a record, and hopefully we don't, because I kind of want to see how long they can hold up like this. It's been this way for like 5 years, so we'll see. But as for what this unit can do, we have a 16-foot box on the back of it. It does have a hydraulic cylinder that tips it up so we can dump. Now we can't put a ton of concrete on here because we can't stack it high, because if it's stacked against the side walls, we most definitely will rip them off. And when it comes to dirt, we kind of have to leave it at the back half, because back in the day, this was probably a pretty big dump truck, but for today's standard of dump truck, it's pretty light. If we get too heavy in the front, we won't be able to flip it up. So we'll probably be able to do somewhere between 10, maybe 15,000 pounds per load. Got to turn on my air conditioner. There we go. It's dead. When the dump truck's completely dead, you cannot use jumper cables from a truck because it just doesn't have enough cranking amps on the truck to be able to get it started, so we have to use this jumper pack. We use this jumper pack on the semi-trailer while we were spraying this year because we had a battery die, and so people were touching the handles with their dirty gloves. So I'm just doing a quick little wipe down, so then when we're using it for the rest of the year now, we have clean handles. Nobody likes grabbing something that's sticky. Ugh, gotta get that arm wrestling strength then. Okay, hot is on. Red to red. We got black to black. This one's a little deceptive because they're both black, so you have to look for the plus and minus. This particular battery pack has two different options. We have a 12 volt, which is just like a normal charge, and then we have a 24, which is the boost. So since we're completely dead, we're gonna put it on the boost and see if we can give this thing some juice. But it appears like the 24 volt one is broken, so we are gonna have to try the 12. There. So our adventure today is not off to the greatest start. We tried it on the 12 volt. We just got click, 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 click. And then Roman was able to get the 24 one on because he's much stronger than me with all his professional arm wrestling hand strength. He got it in there. And now when we hit the key, it does nothing. I've sparked down there. We're connected, so this should work. When we have the 24 volts on, listen to this. Uh-oh.
Do you want 12? Hold on. Okay.
I don't know what just happened. I didn't like what just happened, but we got it started. When I said this thing is 2.5 gallons per mile, I wasn't kidding. We're gonna need to fill up with fuel. Okay, I was kidding. It gets like 3 miles per gallon.
Does it still make a noise?
Yeah, I don't know what the heck that is. What is that?
It's like brake, something for the brakes. Oh, I bet it's a brake booster.
Now, I don't know what's going on here. My key is completely off and this thing is on.
So if we take the ground off, it should kill it.
That's the ground right there?
I would guess. Or probably this big wire. Well, one of them should kill the circuit. Here we are.
Did you fix it?
Listen. So this is ground, so somewhere on the positive side where you have actual connector, it's either stuck so it's constantly open circuit or closed circuit. And now our battery is shot too. The way it sounds. Because it wasn't making the sound at first, right?
No, it was not.
So I wonder if that 24 volt actually burned something.
I really should have thought about it a little bit more before we put the 24 volt on. All of our other equipment on the farm is converted over to 24 volt, or it came 24 volt, and I should have thought about this being 12. So we very well could have melted a wire inside of something. So we think the brake booster perhaps has a wire melted now, which is always leaving it in the on position. So we unhooked the brake booster. We're gonna fill it with gas. And I'm gonna pull it down here in the flat and we're gonna see if we can at least stop with it. Because if we can stop, then we can drive it to move this trash and move this concrete and move this dirt. We're not gonna be taking it very far. So we'll just drive slow and we'll be really careful. But as long as we can at least use it today, because if we have no brakes, we can't use it. And we need this dump truck to do the job that we are trying to do. So if we don't have brakes, then we're gonna have to stop and get this fixed before we can do anything. Moment of truth, see if it starts. We just put it on the charger for a minute, so I would be surprised if it would, but we'll see. Yeah, nothing. Or hey, you know what? Maybe this could take the 24 volt and that thing was just stuck on and we didn't hear it until we put this on it, and that's why it was killing our battery. That also could have been, because we've never had battery issues with this until the other day. So I guess we're rolling with it. I really don't know what that thing we just took off does, but everything seems to be working, so I really don't know. Watch out, my brakes work! We took the ground wire off the thing we thought was the brake booster. That was the only thing we did. Dump truck ran perfectly fine on the 3 miles over here. Literally everything worked exactly the way that it was supposed to, so I have no idea what we unhooked, but stuff worked. We're gonna load this thing up with trash. Hey Roman, before we get started, do you want a chomps?
Chomps? What is it? Grass-fed and finished beef.
It's a beef stick.
0 sugar.
Yeah, you like the jalapeno ones.
The chomps. Is that how you say chomps?
Yeah, chomps.
Chomps. I like it.
You know what? I'm gonna give one a go too, because it's good to have good fuel in our system. When you're hungry, you just don't work the same.
Looks like everything gone and clear now. And when I was pulling in, this place is not recognizable. Weeds are waist high, some of them are chest high. Everything is green and plush, or whatever the word is. Well, let's head back.
On the project for just a second, I want to talk about something. I get asked a lot how Roman and I have the energy to do what we do, and I would give a lot of the credit to what we eat. A little fun fact about me, I have not had a pop in 13 years. And from the ages of 14 to 20, I did not consume a single sweet dessert, piece of candy, or a chip. When I turned 17, I tried taking milk out of my diet, and the deep painful acne that I was getting all over my face started to disappear. So I haven't had milk for almost 10 years. And when I was 22, I realized that excessive amounts of bread was just ripping up my stomach. So my diet consists of red meat, white meat, fruits, vegetables, potatoes, rice. Every now and again, I'll have a bowl of ice cream, and Greek yogurt does not bother me for whatever reason. So that's pretty much my diet. Originally, when I cut sugars out from my diet, I did that because I wanted to just be healthier. But when it came to the bread and the milk, I did that based off the way those foods made me feel. And so the more I started to cut out, the more I realized how sensitive I was to certain foods and the way that they affected me. So now when I consume foods, I consume them solely based on the way that they make me feel. If I have a lot of energy and I feel alert and I clear with my brain, I like consuming them. But if they make me tired and put me into a brain fog or just make me not feel good in general, I don't eat them. So what I'm getting at here is over the last 8 months, I have been working with Roman. Now, Roman is a lot like me. He's very conscientious about what he's putting into his body, and he wants to put clean food into his body. But there's one difference between Roman and I. Roman is a snacker. I have never been a snacker, but when Roman's pulling food out a couple times a day and eating it, and you're sitting there like, you know, I'm a little hungry. I could go for a snack too. It's been turning me into a little bit of a snacker as well. But here's the thing. Do you know how hard it is to find a snack that not only tastes good, but also does not bother me? It's hard. Or at least it was hard until Chomps, the perfect snack, came along. Chomps makes beef sticks that are all stick without the egg. Grass-fed and finished beef, 10 grams of protein, 0 sugar, and look at the ingredients. All real stuff. And they taste incredible. My personal favorite is the jalapeno, but if you're the type that water is too spicy for you, then they have the original ones too. I like that they're wrapped up nice, so it's super convenient for me to bring them anywhere, and I also really like the fact that you can fit them inside your pocket, and then you don't have to worry about people stealing your Chomps, because it's gonna happen. So round of applause for Chomps, because these are good, and they're good for you. So not only does Chomps make an incredible product, I also need to give them a massive thank you for sponsoring this video. They really stuck out their neck and it helps support the channel massively. So as a little thank you to Chomps, I have a favor to ask. If you are interested in picking up some Chomps, head to the link in the description, order a box, and then go down to the comments and let me know what you think. Here we are, look at that. We now no longer have any trash. There's no extra pieces of wood. We got the radiators gone. It is nice not having to look at the radiators. So now we have a nice clean concrete pad, and we got all the stuff we needed to put away inside of the shed away. So we're basically left with a little bit of a metal pile. So this is gonna be a scrap pile. We have a pallet pile. Roman has a friend who's gonna take these pallets off of our hands. This is Roman's rock pile. And then we just have the big concrete pile yet, and our pile of dirt. Now I would like to tackle the concrete pile first, but before we can get scooping into that, we need to finish building the concrete pile. So that means we need to try to get this concrete tore up. Now to be completely honest, I have no idea if the skid loader is actually going to be able to rip this up or not. When we did the other part that was over there, we had the telehandler, which is like twice as strong as the skid loader, but we don't have the telehandler here right now. So we are going to try to do our best with the skid loader. I'm hoping that since this piece is cracked right here at an angle and we have this corner exposed, that I'll be able to get in here, at least get it peeled up. And once I get it peeled up, there's no rebar inside of this, so then I'll be able to just sit there and keep dropping it until it breaks up into manageable pieces. Or at least that's what I think is going to happen. We're gonna find out. New plan of attack. I got this undermined on the edge. That piece flipped up, no problem. I thought doing that would get this piece loose enough where we could flip it up, but I think this piece is just downright heavy. So what we're gonna try to do is take the demo saw and cut this piece in half going this way, and then cut it in half going that way. And then hopefully by doing that, it breaks it up into more manageable pieces for the skid loader. The skid loader can lift something that's about 7,000 pounds, about a foot off the ground. So if we get these pieces less than 7,000 pounds, we shouldn't have any problem moving them. So first things first, we need some gas for the demo saw. And we have to be very careful with the demo saw. We can't just put any gas in it that we want. For every gallon of gas that we have, we need to put in this oil. So that way we have 50 parts gasoline to 1 part oil. And this is the engine oil for the demo saw. What I like to do to know that I got the oil and fuel mixed up nicely is I dump in the oil first while my gas container is empty. So then when I fill it, it will automatically do the stirring and then I don't have to shake it afterwards. Oh, easy does it. Oh, I'm spilling everywhere. Between demo sawing, jackhammering, and breaking things up with the skid loader, we got this broken up into thirds now. Look how thick that concrete is. Compared to my hand, we're probably talking 9-10 inches of concrete right there, at least in the middle. Our demo saw, you can see the demo saw line, can only make it about halfway through. So I'm glad we were able to undermine the backside with the skid loader, and then we were able to get enough pressure on it by being able to get it out and then kind of lift it up, set it down. And when I set it down, all of a sudden, that just flipped forward, that concrete broke. So now I'm hoping I can use the forks without them falling off to be able to scoop these up. And then, I actually may mess with the bucket here a little bit, see if I can lift them up, maybe drop them on top of themselves and break them in half or break them in thirds. That would be much more ideal for maneuvering them to be able to get them into the back of the dump truck, because the way they are right now, I don't think they're going to be too wide. And then when it comes to the rest of the concrete, we are going to be removing everything that is up here. This is all broken up. It should be pretty easy. We're going to be removing this big piece. And I'm going to try to see if I can break this one in the middle to leave this. So that way we have a walkway going from the gravel into the walk-in door, because we're also going to be leaving this concrete right here for now. So that way if it rains, we're not making a big old muddy mess and dragging that into the house. We at least have a little bit of a hard surface until we actually get here to do the work that we need to do with the digging and such. So for the time being, we're going to leave this. We're going to take that out. Say it with me, say it with me, say it with me. We now no longer have any junk. We now no longer have any concrete down here besides our little walkway area. But we still have our big pile of concrete, and we still have our big pile of dirt. But the good news is we do have a dump truck load of concrete. I know it doesn't look like much, but those things being as thick as they are, that is heavy. The dump truck is actually squatted down right now, going down the road. It's going to feel like we're riding like this with our front tires barely on the ground. So this is as full as I'm comfortable filling the dump truck, because if I fill it much more, I don't think I'm going to be able to lift it. And basically, I have to go from the center of the bed to the back, because if you get all the way to the front, especially if you get it off to the side a little bit, going up can be really scary, because when it goes up, if you're off to the side, it'll want to tip. And you don't want to tip the dump truck over, because dump trucks can't tip over, and that's bad. especially if you hit your head, because that can take a guy out, so we gotta be careful. So we're just gonna fill it that full. We did not get as far in the concrete pile as I would have liked, but we did get all of the concrete out, which I am really happy about. The electrical issue on the dump truck this morning set us back a little bit, but what set us back more was the fact that this concrete did not come out nearly as easy as I thought it was going to. I really thought we were gonna be able to come in with the skid loader, rip it up in nice big chunks, and get the whole thing pulled out of here in half an hour. But it took us almost half an hour just to cut it with the demo saw, and then another half hour with the jackhammer, and then another half hour just to separate the pieces apart where we could actually get in here with the forks to lift things out. So we probably had an hour and a half, 2 hours of extra time into getting this out than we anticipated, but hey, sometimes that's just how it goes. And honestly, one of the skills that I'm trying to work on is the ability to look at a project and say, okay, that is going to take 4 hours, and it actually taking 4 hours, because I am notorious. Oh, that job's going to take 3 hours, and then 3 days later, we're still working on it. So I just don't even put timelines on projects anymore, which is not helping me build my skill, but on days I don't think we're going to get much done, we get a ton done, and on days I think we're going to get a ton done, we usually don't get a bunch done. So I'm still trying to get that one figured out. I've done the thing where you take what you think it's going to be and then you 3x it, and then that just feels pessimistic, and so I go back to what I think it should be, and then yeah, it usually takes way longer. Now as for the dump truck, I was going to put this on the battery charger earlier, but I forgot, so I'm going to get the one that we actually can plug in over here, and we'll get this hooked up to the battery charger, and then we'll see tomorrow if the battery holds charge or not. If it doesn't hold charge, we're going to need to get a new battery for this. And as for the thing that was on earlier that we unhooked, I don't know what it is if the dump truck works without it. I guess we really don't need it. I should probably look into that. I'll have Cooper or Zach take a look, because they have much more knowledge when it comes to what's going on in the engine there. And then they'll be able to tell us, or they'll be able to get us the part we need to fix it. But for the meantime, we got the dump truck loaded, so this is ready to dump concrete in the morning, and then we will have it all ready to get the rest of this loaded. I got the bucket sitting in position, so we're probably going to have like 10 trips back and forth to be able to get this out of here. And then when it comes to the dirt, there's probably going to be like double the amount of trips that is right here. In case you forgot, this is what our project site looked like this morning, and this is what it looks like now. All in all, we had a really good day. I'm super pleased with what we got done, so we have that to tackle next.